Disney made a big change to the Genie this morning. What's good, what's not so good, and maybe most importantly, what does this tell us about the future of Disney Genie Plus? Let's go find out. Hi-ho everybody, this is Rob with Ear Scouts coming to you from Disney's Animal Kingdom. We're here today because this morning Disney unveiled a pretty major change to their Genie Plus service. As always, we like to keep you guys up to date with the very latest that goes on with Disney Genie Plus. If you haven't checked it out already, we have an entire playlist on our YouTube channel dedicated to keeping up with the latest on Disney Genie Plus. So if you haven't subscribed over there, I definitely recommend doing that and ringing that bell so you'll be notified whenever we do new videos just like this one. As of this morning, there is no longer one size fits all for Disney Genie Plus. Now you are going to be asked to choose whether you want Disney Genie Plus for a specific park or you want it for all of the parks, which is of course how it's always been before. There's going to be different pricing now depending on which of those options you choose. So parks that are the most popular and have the most attractions, like Magic Kingdom, are going to be more expensive than parks like this one here at Animal Kingdom, where there aren't as many attractions and it doesn't tend to get quite as crowded. Right off the bat, I want to show you guys what everything looked like as I purchased Disney Genie Plus today. I actually got it at midnight, not because I thought it was going to run out. I was just really curious to see what the pricing was going to look like, so I loaded it up right at midnight. In case you're wondering, you really don't need to stay up until midnight to purchase Genie Plus. It has never sold out before park opened before, so I don't think it's likely to, even with this new version. If that changes, of course, we will let you know in a future video, but for right now, as long as you make sure you get it early in the morning, I recommend getting it so that you can book your first lightning lane right at 7 a.m. If you get it then, you're not going to have any problem scoring it before it sells out for the day. To purchase Genie Plus now, you're going to want to tap on that tip board screen. Right at the top, it's going to give you a link to purchase Genie for today. It used to tell you what the price was going to be for that day because it does fluctuate, but of course now there are multiple prices. So you got to tap in and see what the prices are going to be for the day you're at the park. As soon as you tap in to purchase, you're going to see a little sales pitch for Genie. It kind of tells you the different features of the service and why you should get it. Down at the bottom below all the fine print, you'll see a button that you can tap to get to the next screen, and that's where you're going to see the different pricing for the day. Now today, I was really surprised to see Magic Kingdom was actually the exact same price as purchasing the Park Hopper version. I feel like this kind of tells us something about why Disney is making this change. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but it is very interesting that Magic Kingdom is the same price as all four parks. Right behind Magic Kingdom was Hollywood Studios. It was not much cheaper, but a little bit cheaper. Not surprisingly, Animal Kingdom and Epcot had significantly lower prices than the others, mainly because there just aren't as many big ticket attractions in these parks that people want to use Genie Plus for. So I went ahead and chose the least expensive option here at Animal Kingdom just because I knew I had to work today. I wasn't going to have a lot of time to ride stuff, and I just kind of wanted to kick the tires on this new service and let you guys know what I found. After you choose which version you want to buy, you're going to go to a screen that's going to ask you who all you want to buy it for. Anyone who has a park ticket or annual pass for that day, you can add to your list of folks that you want to purchase the service for. Honestly, from this point though, everything is exactly like it was before. So if you've purchased Genie in the past, it's going to be the same process from here forward. So now let's talk about what's good about this new version of Genie Plus, what's not so good about this new version of Genie Plus, and the things that the jury is still kind of out on. The most obvious, really positive change here is that if you are coming to Animal Kingdom or Epcot and you're not planning to park hop, this is going to be much more affordable, especially on busy days. Previously, if you were here on a crazy busy day, you'd have to pay $35, even if all you were going to do was Animal Kingdom, which honestly, that was a little bit crazy because there just aren't that many attractions here at Animal Kingdom that you can use with Disney Genie Plus. So that is definitely, unquestionably, a good change. The second really good thing about this that I think is maybe a little less obvious This is going to make a really big difference for booking lightning lanes after 2 p.m., mainly at Magic Kingdom, but also to a lesser degree at Hollywood Studios. The reason is because a lot of folks like to end their days in those parks. Magic Kingdom stays open later than any other park typically, and Hollywood Studios has some of the heaviest hitter attractions that maybe people want to grab those lightning lanes earlier in the day when they're at another park and then hop into Hollywood Studios to ride those rides. Well, if you've been in either of those parks on a busy day, you've probably noticed it gets really hard to grab lightning lanes, especially for the most popular attractions starting around 2 p.m. So I think the idea behind this change is to limit the number of folks who are going to be doing that. Notice at the beginning I mentioned that Magic Kingdom is the same price as park hopping. Seems counterintuitive. I think what they're really trying to do, though, is to cut down on the number of people who are hopping into those more popular parks. And that, of course, makes it more difficult for people who are spending their whole day in Magic Kingdom to get rides in that latter part of their day. We're actually going to test this out on July 4th, which is one of the busiest days at Walt Disney World. We're going to be at Magic Kingdom. We're going to use Disney Genie Plus, and we're going to try to see, is it maybe easier now to book some of those popular rides later in the day? We'll, of course, get that video to you guys as soon as we can, but my guess is yes. I think this change is going to make it easier to book lightning lanes in Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios later in the day, and that is definitely a good change. The third thing that's really great about this change is when certain parks sell out, which they probably are going to do, much like Genie sold out before in the past, it's going to mean that just that park is sold out, and of course the park hopper option would appear as sold out, but the other parks would remain unaffected. So now let's talk about the things that maybe aren't so good about this change. The biggest one, this does, I think, open the door for it to become a lot more expensive for those of us who like to park hop using the Genie. I noticed this morning Animal Kingdom was still above the $15 threshold, which previously $15 was as low as Genie Plus would go, but of course it was for all 4 parks then. If Animal Kingdom stays at $15 and up, then that's probably going to mean that you're always going to be paying more than $15 to park hop. Now, we don't know that that's the case. I definitely hope that I'm wrong, but my gut tells me $15 park hopping Genie Plus is probably a thing of the past. The second really bad thing about this new change, and in my mind this is the worst thing about the new change, Disney Genie Plus is already such a complicated system. There is so much to figure out. There's so many important decisions you got to make all throughout the day. And now this is adding one more layer of complication and a really important decision that you've got to make first thing in the morning. A lot of folks tell Disney we don't like that we feel like we've lost the spontaneity that we used to feel in the parks because Genie kind of makes things so rigid. Well, now you've got to choose right in the morning. Am I going to park hop or am I going to stay in one park all day long? And once you've made that choice, you're probably going to feel kind of boxed in by that choice that you've made. I don't love this about this new service, and I really don't love that there's going to be one more thing for people to figure out when they're trying to use this already really complex service. So those are the big things that are good and bad. There are a couple of things, though, that I think are left to be determined, and they really kind of all revolve around price. It does seem possible now that Disney might decide that it makes sense to bring the price of Genie Plus in a park like Animal Kingdom down below that $15 threshold, especially at the slowest times of the year. Now, obviously, we don't know if they're going to do that. They may not, but I think this opens the door for that as a possibility, and I hope we see that happen. The other thing I think we may see happen is Disney using Genie to direct people to certain parks that they maybe want to get more traffic going into. If it looks like things are going to be kind of dead here at Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom is crazy, maybe they'll make a special offer for folks staying at a resort or annual pass holders to get a really reduced price on Genie at Animal Kingdom. Again, I don't know that that's going to happen, but we do know that Disney tends to use all of the different levers it has at its disposal to direct crowds where they want them to go, and this seems like a pretty obvious lever that they might choose to use in the future. Next up, I want to talk about some of the biggest questions I know I had as soon as I read about this new change to Genie Plus. The first of which being, can you upgrade later in the day? So let's say you started out thinking, I'm just going to do Animal Kingdom, but then as the day went on, you were like, you know what? I feel like hopping over to Magic Kingdom. Can you go in and upgrade from one park to the Park Hopper? The answer is maybe. In the app, you cannot do it. I tried. After I purchased for Animal Kingdom, I went in and I attempted to get an upgrade. It would let me purchase the Park Hopper option, but I was gonna basically pay the full price for it. So it was like I was throwing away the money I had spent on the Animal Kingdom version. Because I was wondering if there would be another way to do it that I wasn't seeing, I called customer service. They told me that I should check in with guest relations when I arrived here at the park. They said there's nothing they could do on their end, but that maybe guest relations at the park would be able to help with something like that. Sure enough, I went to guest relations here at Animal Kingdom and they said that if the Park Hopper option is still available, they may be able to upgrade you. Today they have done that for some people, and they assume that they will probably be able to continue to do that, again, as long as that Park Hopper option is still available. It hasn't sold out. The way they would do it, though, is they would refund you your day's purchase for Genie Plus for the individual park, and then they would purchase for you the Park Hopper option. So essentially it's like upgrading, but it is not something that they can just push a button and upgrade, though. They essentially have to make a return and then purchase the new item. It's also important to note that this may change. Disney may decide that they don't want anybody upgrading, or Disney may decide to make it easier to upgrade and put that as an option in the app. But as of right now, if you want to upgrade, you're gonna have to go to guest relations. The other big question that I had was, are you able to use those other features of Genie Plus that aren't related to lightning lanes in other parks if you've only purchased it for one? Now, for most of those features, the answer is yes, because things like the PhotoPass lenses or the audio stories that you can hear, those you actually get for 45 days, I think it is, whenever you purchase Genie Plus. So obviously you're allowed to use those in any of the parks. But there is that other feature they added recently where you can get your on-ride photos complimentary. So it's not regular PhotoPass, but the PhotoPass that you get from those cameras that are on the rides, those you do get for free on the day that you use Disney Genie Plus. I don't know for sure if you're going to get those in the other parks. I asked a cast member, they said they think you will. It's kind of hard for me to test that out though, because I have PhotoPass, so I always see them, but I am gonna look into that for you. And if it turns out you do not get those PhotoPass photos on your second park, I will be sure to let you guys know that in a future video. My last question about this big change, and it's probably the biggest one of all, what does this tell us about the future of Disney Genie Plus? Does this give us some insight into maybe what Disney has planned? And I think it does, actually. I think this is going to tie into something that they're going to be bringing back that is one of people's favorite things about the old Fast Pass system. So we're going to get into that a little bit later in this video, but first, I have got lightning lanes for my favorite rides in this park. So we're gonna go ride some rides real quick. On a side note related to that, I do wanna share with you, I was shocked that today, Kali River Rapids was the first ride to run out of lightning lanes, and it started showing as no longer available really early in the day. Now, the reason for that is because it's like 10,000 degrees in Orlando right now. But I want to let you guys know, if you're here on a really hot day and you want to do Kali River Rapids, you might want to move that a little bit higher on your list. Another one that surprised me today was Dinosaur. Believe it or not, Dinosaur was showing as no longer available before Navi River Journey was, which that's just crazy town. That is not something that usually happens. Now, Dinosaur did go down earlier today, so that might have something to do with it, but definitely gonna keep an eye on that in the future, because maybe we need to raise those rides higher on the list of things we need to get done earlier in the day, especially on swelteringly hot days like today. Well, now let's go monkey around here at Animal Kingdom, ride some of my favorite rides in all of Walt Disney World, and when we come back, I'm gonna share those predictions for the future of Disney Genie Plus. Let's go do it. that was a lovely way to spend an afternoon here at Animal Kingdom, and I am pretty delighted that I was able to do this for just $16 because we are here at the end of June, which is the beginning of the crazy tourist season. Normally, getting Genie Plus to use in this park would have cost us closer to 30 bucks. So for days like today, this is a nice change. Well, now, as promised, let's peer into the future, and I have got some predictions for what is about to come to pass with Disney Genie Plus, and I think the change we see today makes these things much more likely. Number one, I think you are going to see the ability to pre-purchase Disney Genie Plus again in the near future. Now, you used to be able to pre-purchase before your trip, but they of course took that ability away. Now you have to book it on the day that you want to use it. I think they're going to bring back that pre-purchase ability. The reason I think that is because they have announced that they're going to be getting rid of park pass reservations, but you know Disney is going to want to have an idea of where people are planning to go on their day. One data point they could use is which park people are choosing for Disney Genie Plus. But in order for Disney to get that data, you're going to need to be able to pre-purchase again. So I do think that they are going to open up that ability to pre-purchase probably around the same time that they do away with park pass reservations, but maybe even sooner. The other thing that I am predicting, and this is actually coming from a press release that Disney put out recently. I'm going to put the relevant quote up on the screen right now. But what Disney was saying is that they hear people's complaints that you can't really plan much in advance with Disney Genie Plus. Now, read between the lines there. What they're talking about is in the old days of FastPass, you could book a select number of attractions in advance before you ever came to the park. That is definitely one of the things that many people miss from the old FastPass service. And this statement makes me think Disney is going to bring that ability back with Disney Genie Plus. But in order to do that, again, you're going to have to be able to buy that Disney Genie Plus service in advance of your visit. I do think this means that all of this is actually part of a grand plan. Disney wants to be able to know where their ticket buyers are going to be going, which park they're headed to, and this new bifurcated service where you choose the park you're going to go to with Disney Genie Plus is going to allow them to do that. It's also going to allow them to bring back that FastPass service of booking select attractions before you get here. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this puts your mind at ease a little bit about the changes you're going to have to deal with when you come here to Disney World and use Disney Genie Plus. If you did enjoy this video, give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and then ring that bell. That way you'll be notified whenever new videos like this come out. Until next time, don't forget to think happy thoughts, everybody. We'll see you again real soon.